spice?
Um, it, I would say, yeah, it tasted thicker. The sauce was thicker, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
The sauce was thicker, and it wasn't. Did you put more like? It wasn't spicier.
What was it?
It wasn't spicier, right? Yeah.
But did it any no spice at all, or just a little bit?
I don't know. It was definitely more noticeable. It was a yeah. It was a thicker taste. Like it just
Thicker taste.
yeah. I mean a richer taste. Yeah. Or
Rich.
I could just
I'm going for the rich.
I
Yeah.
could taste it. Yeah.
Looking for just like it's like you're kind of eating curry, but it's like a different style, it's like a different richness. Yeah, that's kind of how.
What would you put in there? What was it that was?
All these ingredients right here. This one. I'm making the servings more and more. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is it right here. This one.
Yeah, this one right here.
Okay.
That's all the things I put in.
Interesting.
It
Okay.
wasn't ground beef, but yeah. I put 4 onions, 5 carrots, honey, soy sauce, the curry. I forgot how much.
Oh,
yeah.
cumin. You put in the cumin, right?
Yeah, I put garlic.
Interesting, okay.
I put. Oh yeah, I forgot. I put a lot of butter.
Turmeric. I put the butter in there.
Yeah, that's butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, man. Ski yo. Lots of butter.
All right. I think I got through the forward, so I'm going to read from the introduction. Right. Millionaire teacher, the 9 rules of wealth you should have learned in school. Right. Because while Dave Ramsey's financial literacy is great, you know what I'm saying? I mean, to this day, he's out there doing his thing, right? Telling people get out of debt first. Make your rainy day fund. You don't need a credit card to build credit. There's always different opinions out there, but you really don't actually. Again, you can build your credit with a credit card, but you really don't have to do it that way. So don't be sold on that idea. But I'm going to see. I actually haven't heard of this guy before, Andrew Holland, right? But you can see his name right there. But as you can tell, it's an international bestseller, and I think it's good because he goes into being financially compounding when being a high school teacher. So I think that can appeal to most anybody out there. You know what I'm saying? Most people. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it, okay? If you were considering a profession and you wanted to become wealthy, certain lines of traditionally high-paying work might tempt you. Would it be law, medicine, business, or dentistry? Few, if any, would choose my profession. If they aspired to be rich, I'm a high school teacher, a middle-class professional if there ever was one. Yet I became a debt-free millionaire in my 30s. You hear that? See, he said in his 30s. He became debt-free in his 30s, right? I didn't take exceptional risk with my money, and I didn't inherit a penny from anyone. So kind of Dave Ramsey-esque looking. When I went to college, I paid the entire bill myself. How did I pay for my own schooling and amass more than $1 million debt-free dollars before my 40th birthday? Fortunately, I learned from and was inspired by some financially savvy characters who urged me to master what I should have learned in high school. Because financial literacy isn't adequately taught in most high schools, you might be among the millions who were shortchanged by our education system. This book is my attempt to make it up to you. As a high school student, did you ever sit in the algebra class, an English class, a history or biology class and wonder what kind of real-world benefit is this going to have in my life? Are Hamlet's soliloquies and formulas in trigonometry or the intimate knowledge of a dead piglet's inner workings really going to benefit me outside the walls of the classroom? Actually, I realized I read this last time, so I'm going to go ahead and skip ahead now to rule number 1. Okay. Spend like you want to grow rich. I wasn't rich as a 30-year-old. If I wanted to, I could have leased a Porsche, borrowed loads of money for an expensive, flashy home, and taken 5-star holidays around the world. I would have looked rich, but instead, I would have been living on an umbilical cord of bank loans and credit cards. Things aren't always what they appear to be. In 2004, I was tutoring an American boy in Singapore. His mom dropped him off at my house every Saturday. She drove the latest Jaguar, which in Singapore would have cost well over 250,000. Cars in Singapore are very expensive. They lived in a huge house and she wore an elegant Rolex watch. I thought they were rich. After a series of tutoring sessions, the woman gave me a check. Smiling, she gushed about her family's latest overseas holiday and expressed how happy she was that I was helping her son. The check she wrote was for 150. Climbing on my bicycle after she left, I pedaled down the street and deposited the check in the bank. But here's the thing. The check bounced. She didn't have enough money in her account. This could, of course, happen to anyone. With this family, however, it happened with as much regularity as a Kathmandu power outage. Dreading the phone calls where she would implore me to wait a week before cashing the latest check finally took its toll. And I eventually told her that I wouldn't be able to tutor her son anymore. Was this supposed to be happening? After all, this woman had to be rich. She drove a Jaguar. She lived in a massive house. She wore a Rolex. Her husband was an investment banker who should have been doing the backstroke in the pools of money he made. It dawned on me that she might not have been rich at all. Just because someone collects a large paycheck and lives like Persian royalty doesn't necessarily mean he or she is rich. Okay. Wow. This speaks to me. Okay. This speaks to me. Because, it's spiritual, it's like, don't judge a book by its cover. You know what I'm saying? That's what this man is saying here. He's saying that, wealth isn't about appearance per se, right? You can drive these Porsches and, attempt to impress people, or, right, you can acquire knowledge, you can improve who you are on the inside, you can value your feelings, you know what I'm saying? What you love to do. So it appeals to me. Let's see. And okay, we got a nice short section coming up, so I'm gonna keep going here. Okay. The Hippocratic rule of wealth. If we're interested in building wealth, perhaps we should all make a pledge to ourselves, much like a doctor's Hippocratic oath. Above all, do no harm. We're living in an era of instant gratification. If we want to communicate with someone half a world away, we can do that immediately with a text message or a phone call. If we want to purchase something and have it delivered to our door, it's possible to do that with a mobile phone and a credit card number, even if we don't have the money to pay for it. Just like that seemingly wealthy American family in Singapore, it's very easy to harm our financial future by borrowing money we don't have. The story of living beyond one's means can be heard around the world. To stay out of harm's way financially, we need to build assets, no debts. To stay out of harm's way financially, we need to build assets, not debts. One of the surest ways to build wealth over a lifetime is to spend far less than you make and intelligently invest the difference. But too many people hurt their financial health by failing to differentiate between their wants and their needs. Once again, another really good point here. Many, I kind of want to integrate this a little bit with Emanuel Swedenborg's, his writing, because he talks about love and puts want into quotations, because there's just not enough time to get into all of it here, but I'm going to keep going. Let's see here. Many of us know people who landed great jobs right out of college and started down a path of hyperconsumption. It usually began innocently. Perhaps with their handy credit cards, they bought a new dining room table, but then their plates and cutlery didn't match, so they had to upgrade. Then there's the couch. Then there's the couch. What's that? Couch. Couch. Then there's the couch, which now doesn't jive with the fine dining room table. Thank God for Visa. Time for a sofa upgrade. Yeah, so couch, okay. It doesn't take long, however, before our friends notice the carpet doesn't match the new couch. So they scour advertisements for a deal on a Persian beauty. Next, they're dreaming about a new entertainment system, then a home renovation, followed by the well-deserved trip to Hawaii. Rather than living the American dream, they're stuck in a mythological Greek nightmare. Zeus punished Sisyphus by forcing him to continually roll a boulder up a mountain, only to have it maddeningly roll back every time it neared the summit. Many consumers face the same relentless treadmill with their consumption habits. When they get close to paying off their debts, they reward themselves by adding weight to their Sisyphean stone, which knocks them back to the base of their own daunting mountain. Buying something after saving for it instead of buying it with a credit card is so 1950s. At least, that's how many consumers see it. As a result, the 21st century has brought mountains of personal debt that often gets pushed under the rug. Yeah, talk about taxpayer money here too, right? Because politics, business, it's connected. The government prints money based on the votes of the people, and we're all connected, and honestly, going back to King, going back to, our great American, prophets, right? The divine principle, shows us, right, the unity between the Christian Muslim world, through King and X. And, yeah. Decreasing military spending for the sake of social services. Right? This is what King advocated for. Now, right, he was advocating for us not to be in Vietnam, which is contradictory to, a lot of theology of what we talk about, the unification movement, because the spread of communism in North and South Vietnam. But I'm talking about it because, why am I talking about it? I'm talking about it because the fear, right, for national security is what causes people to not want to shift the spending of military defense to social services. The fear, the xenophobia, perhaps you could say, you know what I mean? And, but again, I'm not saying that the fears, we have to take care, because you cannot combat the fear. You cannot, let me see. So, anyway, this is what speaks to me as I'm going through this part here about the breaking the cycle, realizing the patterns. So I am going to have to return to this. I'm gonna leave you here. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.